Howdy ho! Right, where am I today? No mucking about today, let's get on with it. Well, it's an early morning. We're in early spring, supposedly, but it's freezing cold. It's very wet today, but I'm up in the hills in Northumberland. So I've come to see a place called Alwinton. And then I'm going to go along near, sticking by the river region, the river Cochet, or however you're supposed to pronounce it, Coquet, and then I'll carry along to Linshiels, and that's Linshiels without a D, Linshiels. I just want to see, it looked like a good sort of natural valley, and I quite like that sort of area because you get some good wildlife. And talking of wildlife, getting here was a right chew on. I like a country drive, but firstly, I nearly hit a pheasant. The ABS kicked in and that saved the pheasant's life. And then I thought, phew, right, so I kept going. And then a massive fat partridge nearly bit the dust and I nearly decapitated that. Luckily, I stopped in time. Then 2 rabbits ran out, I stopped in time. Then a crow nearly swerved and hit the car. So finally, I thought I'll slow down a bit. And luckily I did, because 2 ducks were crossing the road. I mean, normally this time of year, you'll find that you'll get like a pairing of ducks will come out. And what's happening is, really, they're coming away from the water that they hang about normally. And they're looking for an area to nest, really. So you'll have the male and the female, the brightly coloured male and the sort of drab-looking female wandering around. And that's what they're doing, really. And it's this time of year when you see it happen. And you see them looking about. Even in non-rural areas, you'll see them sort of on roundabouts and all sorts of things. Or turning circles if you're American. So it's quite interesting. So I've seen lots of wildlife already. And then Ellie hit a wagtail. I don't know if it was a pied wagtail, but they're the little almost black and white grey birds with the little tail that flicks as they go hunting for insects. They're brilliant at catching little insects. You sometimes see them in car parks, in fact. That's how sort of well adapted they are for catching stuff. So we're going to make this little trip. There's loads of wildlife I can see already. There's loads of sheep there. I've just seen a wood pigeon flutter down there. The sun's not really going to bother to come out, but that's, that's about normal for this country. And later on, I'm going to try something that sounds like a kinky German sex act. So let that sink in. How can you not watch the full video knowing that? And I've got it just here. Listen, I'm not going to show you. Not yet, and don't fast forward, okay? So come on, let's hit the map, because you probably have never heard of this place, much like myself before I found it. So bye-bye. Okay, right, now let's hit this map. So maps, right, where are we? So I'm parked here in Alwinton, and there's the river Cochet, or however you're supposed to say it. I'll call it the Crocket, because I'm a Geordie. Oh, there's some toilets handy. Right, so north's up, obviously. The plan is, if I scroll out, the plan is really, that should be, yeah, there's Linshiels there. So really, there's almost a natural valley. And what I want to do is, I want to travel along here and then maybe up a little bit and then down like that. Basically, anyway, that's the basic idea. Let's swap map detail. That's better. We can see what's going on now. Right, that makes a bit more sense. So we'll swap this around. So I'm going to come along here. Now that looks like a good crossing point. I want to, if I can, I want to try and get across the river, but we'll see. I'm not able to get a lot of detail there because the signal here is poor. I'll probably cross down there, and there's some abandoned buildings, and if I can get across this, that looks quite a short gap. And then I'll head up the hill, have a little look around, down past the river, keep going until I get to Linshiels, and then there's supposed to be a waterfall up there somewhere, but I'm not sure. I can't really see the topography enough to know that. And then I'll head up and then back along, and that's probably about 4 or 5 miles, but we'll see. So come on, let's get on with it. Just seen a heron in this marshland. It's now blasted all the way along over at the river there, which is annoying. So I was hoping it would come back, but they're very shy birds, very, very shy. Great area. Apart from a few loud dogs, it's actually very, very peaceful here. And the weather's quite subdued. But look at the hills, beautiful, beautiful area. You hear the crows in there. So the plan is to head along that region really. You can see it's like a natural valley, left and right there. So I'm going to head up that road into there. You can hear the birds in the marshland here. I'm not going to go that way though, it looks too muddy. So let's head up the road. Seen that damn heron again, another one, and it flew off, but I got a nice shot of it flying off. They're so timid, it's a shame, because they're a beautiful bird. They're huge. The colours are very interesting. There's a little natural stream down there. Very nice. Although you've got to be careful, any time you've got runoff from farmland, don't drink it, unfortunately. Modern man knacks everything, including the water supply, so be very careful. And there's plenty of wildlife around here. I've seen oyster catchers, even though I'm miles away from the sea. There's pheasants over there. Now, was that a partridge? No, that's a male pheasant. Actually got it right this time. Because you know what my ID skills on birds are like? Poor. 2 out of 10, eh? But brilliant day. There's a couple of swifts. What was I going to say? Yes. So weather-wise, bitter. My hands are cold. It's about 2 degrees, but because there's no wind, you don't get the wind chill, so you're better off. I'm looking for a turn off here on the left. Don't think is it that one? It's called Moor something or other. This might be it. I want to try and get across this river, and if you can see across the river in the distance, over there, there's some abandoned buildings by the looks of it. I want to have a look at them, because you know what I'm like. If I've seen an abandoned building, I'm like a dog with a bone. I think, get in there, get out and get in. This looks like it. And there's some good advice. See that sign? Lambs on road. Especially this time of year, spring. Here we go, holiday cottages. I don't have a holiday cottage, but I'll head down there. Right, Barrow Mill, so I'll head down here. Alright, I'm off. Corn drying kiln. That's interesting. So just found an old ruin here. That's what it used to look like. There's not a lot left now, but obviously you stick your fuel in there and it dries out the corn. Mostly has a cigarette. That's not health and safety. Looks like he's having a wee. What's that? Let's have a look. There's not a lot left, is there really? It's interesting to have a look. Oh, look at that. Yes, it doesn't go very deep, but still a little bit left. That's quite a thick wall, isn't it? And it's curved. It's interesting. There's nothing else left here, it's just a little bit of a building there, but so I presume this must have been fields near the water. Must have been. It's quite flat, they flattened it out, so that must be what it's for. Right, I want to try and get across this river, but it's not looking good, because of course it has been raining, so we'll get a bit closer and have a look. I can't spot any likely looking crossing spaces. I mean, it's too wide there, It's too deep at this point, I can see that. It's speeding up there and there's white water suggesting that you could probably do that, but I don't know, like, what about over there? There's an extra bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get over here and head along the field and see what I can spot. If not, I'll just go back on the main road. Find a way across this river, so I'm going to go back a little bit. That's what I want to have a look at. There's some like abandoned buildings there. There's not a lot left, like, to be honest, but I wanted to have a look and then probably pop up in them hills and see what's there. But I'll head back, so back along there and then up and then along, because that looks quite interesting over there. We'll have a look. Look at the amount of life on this. It's obviously a dead log here, but look, you got lichen there. And then you've got moss. It's thriving, really. And you've got a different kind there. I mean, look. And there was a snail there. I presume that's empty. Yeah. Gone. So although it might look like everything's dead, and people put the last nail in the coffin like that, why can't people just tidy up after themselves? I'll take that away with me. But there's probably a load of black beetles in here, but I don't want to disturb them too much. I need to make tracks. And who lives down there? Look. Who lives down there? There's got to be a mouse or something. Right, let's make tracks. Right, I'm heading on a bridleway. I've given up trying to get across that river. Look how high up I've had to come. I can't find an access point, so I'm going to head up, and it'll probably take me up onto this range here of small hills. That seems to be the track there, and then it goes off in the distance and up. So I'll take that. It says here I can get to Shilmore ASAP. And anyway, that's what it says. I'm glad I didn't go that way actually, because look, it goes up. And then it kind of, I wouldn't want to fall off there, look, at Grand Canyon. So I'll head up here instead. Here come the sheep, look. Hello lads. I've got nothing for you, so eat some grass, I'm off, bye. How deep the snow is here, look. Just put my foot in and that's nearly up to my knee, so that's pretty deep, nearly up to the knee there. I'm trying to traverse this so I can get to the bloody crossing here, but it's deep. Woo. And the problem is with snow like this, really you should be using a pole. And I'll tell you why. There could be a hidden hole here that I can't see, so it's stupid what I'm doing, so don't copy what I'm doing, okay? But you already know I'm stupid. Right, we've made it. There was a lot of snow here, so we've come up from where it's been quite warm down there. Well, 3 degrees. Not 3 degrees up here, it's freezing. So I need to get across here, and I've spotted a stile. And I'm still yet to see human life. I've never seen a single person. I mean, you can see the hills. Nobody for miles, not a single person. But that's quite relaxing, I don't mind that. Right, let's get tracks. Sheep's wool there. Now, I don't know if you can see, but those shining, glistening beads are actually water. And the interesting thing about sheep's wool is it doesn't really integrate with the water. Not as fast and as readily as synthetics anyway. And when it does, here's the amazing thing, it doesn't lose its insulating properties. So can you imagine that? You've got all this synthetic stuff on. Once that gets soaked, it's no longer really able to keep you warm to the same degree, whereas wool, it just retains it. So if you've got wool socks, yeah, they're bloody itchy, but if you get wet feet, it still sort of insulates you to an extent anyway. So it's quite interesting, isn't it, how nature's still one up on modern manufacturing techniques. Although hollow fibres are coming on quite well at the moment anyway, but so it's just a matter of time before we catch up and get better. But it's amazing, nature's pretty good. Wow, there's a lot of snow here. Now you see this crack line, when you see that, you know you've got melt underneath. Generally, there you go, you've got water underneath it. It's either water anyway or the melt from this, so this section coming up, you need to be very careful. So never copy what I do. You really need poles for this. But I'm an idiot, so that's alright. Whoa, that's. I'm going to kiss the ground when I get on terra firma, just like the Pope used to do. There you go. Made it. Listen to the birds up here, that's fantastic. Listen. I'll shut up so you can listen to them. Beautiful. Now, is that a skylark? I think it is. I can see them, but you'll probably not see it on camera. I think skylarks are fantastic. They're able to go up there, maintain the height, and sing over a territory at the same time. I mean, that's incredible. I've just noticed in this water, I come down, look at the size of that frog spawn. So, most people will know anyway, but for those who don't, these are eggs from either toads or frogs. So each egg, you see that little black dot that eventually turns into the tadpole. And there's certain times of year, if you catch them just before they hatch, you can see them moving inside there before they fully form. So
So there's loads here. These have been here a while, or there's been a lot of stuff coming off the hill because they're quite brown. In fact, is that one moving there? There's some movement there, but it may just be a shadow. It's still a little bit too early for them to come out. That's incredible. So they'll hatch, all the frogs will come out, and away they go. And that's the next generation. So that's why really, you know, we need to keep the waterways clean. Not just for birds, but for the amphibians and, you know, all the invertebrates who rely on it. That's why I get a bit annoyed when you get all this stuff coming off the land, knacking everything. Right, let's continue up the hills here. Found a trough way up in the mountains here, and that's a bit ominous. Look, there's a bone in it. Whose bone's that? So something was feeding here and died, or was predated on. I wonder what that was. I can't really tell from the size of the bone. Hard to tell. I've stopped for a rest and I need some food. I'm right on top of the hills here, and I'm so high up actually I can hear military exercises going on to the south. Sounds like artillery to me. You hear that? You may or may not hear it. It would probably almost sound like a piece of the wind, but it's definitely artillery. But it's beautiful up here. No people. Peace and quiet. The larks, you can hear them. They're brilliant. All the way up, you come all the way up here and there's a tiny little lark protecting its patch. Incredible. Haven't seen any sheep. That artillery's going mental. So I'm going to have a little bit of food. I've got, look at this, chicken sandwich, and it's cafe class. Because we're class up here, you see. You've got to have a touch of class on the mountains. But beautiful up here. So wildlife, you know, when you look up from the road at a place like this, it looks barren. It isn't. It really isn't barren. I mean, you dig for 5 minutes, you'll find something. You can hear the birds. It's incredible. You forget how much stuff's here. And then, of course, thanks to humans and that brilliant invention of modern warfare, we're over there smashing them all to bits. So I feel a bit sorry for them. But, you know, what can you do? So I'm going to have a little bit of food and then continue on. I was trying to get down into the valley there to see the waterfall, but that's steep. And there's snow there, so I've tested it, and it's deeper than my knees, and it's at an angle. I'm stupid, but even I wouldn't do that. You need a snowboard to get down there. So I'm going to listen to the relaxing sounds of artillery pummeling the countryside and have a class sandwich. So I'll see you soon. I'll give you 360 as well.
Right, I'm headed back. I've seen the waterfall there, very nice. That's the hill in the background there that I climbed up and threw a snowball. I've always wanted to throw a snowball off a hill. No, the wind's getting up, although I'm not wearing my coat because it's, you know what I'm like. You know what I'm like with the temperatures. Sub-zero and I'm fine. So the wind's getting up, so I'm heading off. I'm going back up that way, back to the east there. But amazing area, dead quiet, hardly any traffic. I've seen a few cars, no people, and there's some sheep over there. What are they up to? So come on, let's make a move, eh? And there's the river there. But enough of me waffling, let's make a move. There's some little natural springs I've spotted which are very interesting, but again they come off land that's used for sheep and all sorts of things, so you've got to be very careful. I've seen loads of contrails from planes, it's just the condensation, but loads of them. I think it's because when you get to an area where you've got an open sky, you can make them out, whereas if you're in a built-up area you don't necessarily see them. You've got buildings in the way. So I've got about a 3-mile walk, so that'll be fun, but it's not as hard as it was up there, put it that way. And I never did get across that side of the river, so I might come back one day and have a look, because there's some abandoned buildings and I'm getting the eye off that sheep. Hey, what is it? Right, come on, let's put one foot in front of the other.
tired. Probably about 7 miles by the time I get back, but I'm nearly back. Got about half a mile to go, just outside of Alwinton, and I'm in St. Michael's of Alwinton. Very cool in here, lovely. So a nice departure from the road there. And look, I found a real golden eagle. Look at that, it's shining. Brilliant. So I quite like coming to churches because they're very interesting. I think it's because they're made of stone. They're always cool. So if you're out for a walk, they're a great place. And they're always quiet. And, you know, they'll never throw you out unless you're homeless or something. So it's a good place. I've spotted some really interesting little things in the stained glass windows. I quite like the style of the stained glass windows. You don't really get art like that now. I don't like the modern stuff. I find that, you know, cheap imitation. I was hoping that the vicar might be knocking about so I could say, look, can you pray for me and all the TrailTrek subscribers, apart from that one who was using foul language recently. But more on that later. So nearly back, half a mile to go. I'm not going to film anymore, I'm too tired. But brilliant place here, look. I'll show you the stained glass windows. In fact, what are the animals here? Got what looks like a griffin. And some sort of lion thing. But isn't it interesting how the lion, the artwork in those days, they had almost human features on the animals. This golden eagle's brilliant. Look at that. I like that. And there's some better windows up here. I like that one. There's two knights who look like they've got a hangover. See them at the bottom there? One saying, I don't want another beer, and the other one saying, my head. What else have we got? And there's Jesus or whatever up there. Aye, very nice place. Now who's that again? Who was the guy who killed the dragon? That was, God, I'm terrible, you know. St. George? St. George and the Dragon, wasn't it? And some badges and stuff there, very nice. Right, I'm going to make a move because time's getting on and I haven't even had my dinner yet, although I had a few sandwiches. It's not really a lot when you've done 7 miles up and down hills. You know, takes a toll on you. So come on, let's make a move. Whoo! Sound like Ric Flair there, but that was a long one. About 7 miles, so I've made it back to Alwinton. Nice place, great. It is a kind of a natural valley. It's just a shame it's difficult to cross the river there. I would have liked to have done that more, but the views are brilliant. Skies were incredible, wispy clouds, and it just shows you know, even when you go right up on the top of those isolated hills where you think there's going to be no life, there are the larks tweeting away. Unbelievable, really, really beautiful. And there was moments when I sat down to eat a sandwich and couldn't hear a thing. A few little bird tweets. And then, of course, it was ruined by the artillery in the distance, but never mind. It was a beautiful place. Really highly recommend a walk here. Rather than give it a mark, I promised a kinky German sex act sounding activity. So here we go. See that? Gold shots. You fancy a bit of gold shots? Right, come on. And it says it's gut, so that must be German. Let's try a bit of gold shots in the mouth. No laughing. Oh, it smells strong. What's it supposed to be? Golden edition with 40% cacao. If I wasn't so thirsty, I'd probably enjoy this, but I'm absolutely desperate. Despite the rude sounding name, that's a really nice chocolate. I really like that, and it's got spot on, so it must be healthy. So, kinky German sex act sounding activity out the way. Right, let's get on. I'll have a drink of some hot Pepsi Max that's been left in the car. Right, so left the starting point, walked along, wanted to cross the river, couldn't, unfortunately. And there's a load of sheep knocking about. I then veered off to the right and went along the hill range all the way until I got to, and eventually got down to the waterfall. Brilliant. There's 2 sections to it. And then the main section I found a carcass of a deer, a huge carcass of a deer. I didn't get too close because unfortunately it was quite fresh. You do want to hang around corpses and get infections and all sorts of things. Hot Pepsi, yum yum. And then I made my way back along the roads and had a little look around. Very wet here, but that's understandable. It's very hilly, so that's to be expected. And there's still snow on the hills, and I crunched through snow. Some of that snow is hilarious. There was one point where I was trying to get down to near the waterfall, and it was so deep it was going past my knee, and I thought, I don't really care, but safety first. I don't know, because I don't know the area. I don't know what's under that. Therefore, there could be a gorge or anything. So unfortunately, I had to leave it, and I made a different route, which was, long, but never mind. So I've made it all the way back, and brilliant area, love it. Very, very peaceful. I saw 2 people when I came back into the town here, and that's it. 2 people, and a woman on a horse. So very, very peaceful place. Lots of bird life. So come on, for this walk, marks out of 10. If you'd like walking, you'll like it. If you don't, you won't, because there's very difficult parts. And there's parts where you're on a gradient like this. So some people don't like to walk like that for a long distance, especially if they haven't got full boots on, because what happens is it's uncomfortable in the ankles. It doesn't bother me, because I do a hell of a lot of walking. I do 40 odd 50 miles a week, easy. So it doesn't bother me, but that will put some people off. But other than that, and you can adjust the routes to suit yourself a bit more and stick more to the roads. Beautiful, great place, peaceful. In the summer, it'll be even better. It'll be boiling because there's natural sun traps. In fact, it's gone quite hot now. It was 2 degrees and my hands were all frozen away there, and there's snow hanging about. So depending on which area you're at is dependent on the temperature. Fantastic place, definitely recommend coming. I'll give it 7.5 out of 10. And I've had my gold shots in the mouth. I never thought I'd be saying that, and I'm going to go now because I'm quite tired. I've still got a bit of a headache, so I've never really fully recovered since last week. But we'll see, we'll get there. So I've had a great time, and remember, get out! You know it makes sense. Right, bye-bye.